Hello dollies, my name is Sivan and today I'm going to teach you a couple of tips for caring for your American Girl doll's hair. Now this isn't going to be the kind of video where I show you how to fix a real mess, but that one is coming. I just have to find a doll whose hair is in real bad shape. But considering how often I restore dolls, that shouldn't be too long from now. First things first. These are not necessarily the only brushes you should ever use, but they always have to have only metal bristles, because if you use plastic bristles on American Girl doll hair, it will frizz or break, and you don't want that to happen, believe me. And yeah, American Girl doll brushes can be a little bit expensive, but if you want, you can go out or look online on Amazon or on eBay. I'm sure you can find a slightly cheaper option, but as long as it's only metal bristles. Pick brush, whatever you use, make sure it's only got metal bristles. You're going to want a little spray bottle. Again, this is like $1 from the drugstore in the travel section. And just water. Easy. Now, the last thing is sort of a secret. Not a secret, but it's a secret. It's a miracle is what it is. This is called braid spray or braid sheen spray, or I've seen braid moisturizer spray, but you can find this usually in a beauty store or at the drugstore, depending on, what your drugstore has, but usually a beauty store will carry it. And what it does is it's something that people spray when they have braided in hair and braided in extensions, so this also works with synthetic hair. And what you can do is spray, not a lot, but a little bit onto your doll's already damp with water hair, brush it through and let it sit for a little while until it dries, and your doll's hair will be significantly less dry. It'll be softer and smoother, and this is a real lifesaver for older dolls whose hair kind of starts to feel like straw. So, there are, as I'm sure you know, a bunch of different hair types for American Girl dolls. Now, unfortunately, at this moment, I do not yet have any dolls with Addie's hair texture, so I can't show you that. However, I do have a whole bunch of other dolls with me today to show you a couple of tips and tricks. So for starters, this is my first doll. This is Lindsay. And I'm sure anyone who has ever owned a Lindsay doll knows her hair is difficult. It's challenging, and I'm not entirely sure why. But I've had to sort of fix and recurl her hair about a dozen times. And the thing is, they no longer at American Girl Doll Hospital replace Lindsay doll heads because they ran out of their original stock. So right now, your best bet is to just take really good care of your Lindsay's wig if you have a Lindsay right now. And if you're getting one, or if she's in real bad shape, I think you should look on eBay, because it's really tough to find a good Lindsay wig. But so, what I usually do when I care for Lindsay's hair is instead of using the brush, I use the pick, because you don't want to overbrush her hair. It will frizz. So you're going to want to just do little, light, from the bottom, work your way up to the top, and you want to go individually with each little flip and curl. And then you just redo it with your fingers. Now, most of the time, I would suggest you use a little bit of water to sort of spritz her hair and make sure that it all sort of cooperates. And water, just a little mist in any bottle, doesn't have to be from the American Girl doll store, but any water, just a light mist in any doll's hair, it is always best to brush that way. Next, I'm going to demonstrate Samantha. Now, Samantha has sort of long and smooth hair, but it is curly at the bottom. It's sort of big waves. And so for this one, you don't have to break out the pick. You can just sort of mist her, and then go in, and then this is another time. You want to go individually from the bottom, each curl, and work your way up to the top, and then sort of twist the piece of hair around your fingers. And then for her bangs, I don't normally mist her bangs. I just sort of go through them real light with the brush there, and then sort of smooth them down. Bangs really on these dolls, they don't really need a lot of work, unless of course you're rehabilitating a doll who's been through a lot. Because believe me, I've seen it all. All right, so now we've got Julie. Very easy to deal with Julie's hair, except that it gets very tangled very easily. As you can see, I barely moved her at all, and we've already got a few tangles going here. So what I always do is I move her braid out of the way, and as you can see, I have snagged it a couple times. It's going to happen, but you want to try and avoid it if you do keep her braid in. Some people take it out, and that is totally fine. But like I did before with Samantha, You always want to brush from the bottom and work your way up gently. Now with Julie though, you don't have to go from strand to strand like chunk to chunk because her hair is all straight. So you're not worrying about making it one big weird flip. See? Beautiful. Alright, so now we have one of the trickiest of the historical characters in my opinion, and that is sweet and wonderful Rebecca. Now, Rebecca has some really pretty curls. But the problem is that I have seen a lot of people struggle with how to brush out her hair. And that's right there where you make the mistake. You don't want to brush it out. What you want to do is, again, and I know it's going to take a while, but it's worth it to keep her curls intact because believe me, once her curls come out, her hair sort of becomes a big frizz ball and it's hard to work backwards from there. It's easier to just go in with the pick, go real slow. Oh, whoops, I almost forgot to spritz it. See, and then just go in real slow and easy, work your way up. See, and then just sort of work it around your fingers, and then ta-da! And that's sort of how you can keep all of her curls in individual place rather than lose them all. Now, Felicity is definitely one of my, she's got one of my favorite hair colors and styles, but the thing about Felicity that is so special, in my opinion, is her beautiful little pin curls, see? And the thing about her pin curls is that if you brush her hair too fast and too roughly, you will lose them, and it's really hard to find them once they're lost in the rest of her hair. And if they get straightened, it's really hard. So what I recommend you do is, one, never just take your brush and go to town on the front of her hair. That will almost definitely get rid of her pin curls, and if it doesn't, it'll split them up and they'll start to do the little frizzy thing, and it's just not easy to deal with after that. So what you're going to want to do is when you work with the pin curls, you're just going to want to sort of flip them in your fingers really gently. You do not have to comb through them unless they start to really knot, but they shouldn't if you're careful. And now I have an American Girl Felicity, not a Be Forever, but a pre-Be Forever. She's got her second meet, so she's not one of the older ones. The older the Felicity, oftentimes the more difficult it is to keep her pin curls intact. If they've been played with a lot, or sometimes they'll just frizz, or even sometimes just from storage they can sort of go smushy. So if you ever have to recurl a pin curl, you are going to want to use one of these little foam rollers. And you're going to want to just sort of wrap the curl around the roller and then snap it shut and then spray afterward. Because, I mean, I don't know, you want to be really careful not to ever spray water on your American Girl doll's face, because if it gets in her eyes, they can rust and then they won't work properly, they won't open and close. Now this is Alexis. She is a Just Like You doll, a Truly Me. I got her on eBay, she's a rescue doll. I actually did sort of try to restore her original wig. It did not work quite as well as I had hoped. I mean, it worked out okay, but it came out really thin. So someone in one of my American Girl Facebook groups mentioned that they had this wig for sale, and it's stunning, and it's very soft. Now, just know that if you ever customize an American Girl doll, even if it's just something as changing her wig to a custom wig, American Girl Doll Hospital will not fix her. They will return her home. So make sure that if you customize a doll, you are ready for the commitment of either fixing her yourself if something happens, like, you know, replacing her leg yourself with parts you find online, or if you know someone who can help you, which, just FYI, I can, and I would love to. So what you're going to want to do with this kind of wig is, as usual, it's always good to just give a tiny spritz. You don't have to wet the doll's hair to the point of dripping, just enough that it's a little bit sort of, it's just easier for the hair to move through your bristles. So what you're going to want to do is, if you want to use the pick, you can use the pick, you can use the brush too. I've found that both work, but again, you always want to work your way from the bottom to the top. And you don't even have to go all the way to the top either. But so, once again, you just sort of work the curl around your fingers, and with this kind of wig, because it's so long and the curls are so big, you can sort of play around with how you want it to curl without ever using any heat or even rollers. Before I forget, my lovely, wonderful, adorable, sweet Kirsten. Now, Kirsten is very special for 1,000,001 reasons, but what I'm going to show you today, whoops, got a little bit of hat hair there, or bonnet hair, is how to do her adorable little round braids. So what you're going to want to do, and I'll just show you how to do it with one braid, is just braid Kirsten's hair in, 2 regular braids, very easy. And what you're going to want to do if you have an older Kirsten, this is the trick, is you're going to want to use 2 hair ties here at the end, because you want to get as much hair smooth like this and flat as possible in the tail. And the thing about older Kirstens is that a lot of time when you try to go down here, let's say, to tie it off, you're going to get a lot of pieces flying out, and every once in a while I get little pieces flying out too. But, the older the doll, oftentimes the less even the ends of her hair will be, especially when you braid it. But so, what you're going to want to do after you do that is take one of her ribbons, or any ribbon that's about this size, and you're going to just want to tie it once around the bottom here, around the bottom little hair tie that you used, and then you're going to flip it up like this and around, and what you're going to do is sort of stick this underneath the top part, and then just tie that to the top of this braid. Now, a lot of people like to do the thing, and I think even American Girl does this, where they sort of like push the end of the tail end of the braid into the other part of the hair. I don't really like doing it that way, just because it's a little bit, one, it's more difficult, and two, it just seems a little bit more, not violent, but damaging. It probably doesn't actually damage the hair, but it certainly makes you feel like it does. But so there you go. And then this also, this makes her braids a little bit rounder than like if you have like a brand new Kirsten, or like the one they have on display because she's still retired, which I would like them to bring her back. I hope they do soon. But anyway, that is how you do Kirsten's braids, and I might actually go into that a little bit more detailed later. That should be all, I think, for this video. So, it's been wonderful. I hope you all have a wonderful day, or a wonderful night, or a wonderful whatever you're having. And I will talk to you later. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And go to my channel, check things out. I'm hopefully going to be starting to post more and more videos. I have quite a few ideas. So, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!